margin because of the cost. Because of the brilliant mandate that next week you're going to be forced to drive all electric. Everybody's going to have an electric car. They don't go far. They cost too much. And by the way, they're great. You know what? They're great. And Elon makes the best of them as far as I'm concerned. But, and he'll be the first to admit, it's a certain market, and it's a certain market for certain things, but you have to have gasoline powered. Here we have more gasoline, we have more oil and gas, we have more liquid gold than anybody in the world. And we're trying to go all electric. So we want that. We want hybrids. We don't want hydrogen cars. We don't want hydrogen. Would anybody like a hydrogen car? You know what a hydrogen car? It's a great car. It's a wonderful car, except if it happens to explode, then you are unrecognizable. They said they have it down. They don't think more than 10 or 20 will explode a year. But if it does, you're gonzo. So we told them, let's not spend a lot of money on that. That's one of those things, no matter how good it is, you don't want it. But other than that, they said it works quite well. On day one of the Trump administration, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, and we will end the Green New scam once and for all. You know, the Green New scam is terrible. You know whose idea that was, right? AOC, young girl, very nice person. She never even studied the environment in college, average student at best. She was an average student. She walked in one day, she said, we're going to all be dead in 12 years because the oceans are rising. Well, it's been more than 12 years. What's going on? No, we have a much bigger threat. We have a threat called nuclear weapons and having stupid people running our country. And if you talk about global warming, that's the real global warming, not this nonsense of the ocean's going to rise over the next 400 years by 1/8 of an inch and we're going to be wiped out. No, we have a threat right now, and we better get smart because we're very close to World War III. If you take a look at what's going on, we're very close. So we have a couple of different areas, but we'll have more than that. And you can look at the size, look at the teams. They're already being divided up. You see what's going on with Iran and Russia and China, and now other countries are adding into that group, North Korea. No. We have very stupid people letting this happen. That should have never happened. Now they want to attack our dollar. They want to take our dollar away from us. They want to take our dollar and not have that be the standard any longer. That would be like losing a world war. Then we would be indeed third world status. And if I'm elected, they're not doing that. I guarantee you that. No chance. Just like Russia would have never attacked Ukraine. Zero. By the way, zero. Even a Democrat congressman was on television, and many Democrats are saying that. And by the way, for 4 years they didn't. So, it's not like, oh, gee, they won't. For 4 years they didn't. I think what happened was when Putin saw how weak we were, how pathetic we were, with the stupid Milley and these generals that aren't even generals as far as I was concerned. What a stupid group of people they were. Mattis, Milley. The real ones, the ones that I used to defeat ISIS. We defeated ISIS. They were the real generals. They were the real generals. They weren't the television generals. They weren't the dumb ones. They were the ones that were warriors. But we'll quickly become energy independent, and we will frack, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill. And I will cut, in 12 months from January 20th, that's the day we take office, I will cut your energy prices by 50%, within 1 year. And we can do it. No other country can say, very few countries can say it, but no other country can say that. We have more liquid gold. We're going to drill. Your prices are going to come down. Then everything else is going to start coming down, too, because you're paying too much. You know what people tell me mostly? Groceries. The simple word groceries. I say, what do you mean? The overall effect of bacon and lettuce and all of this stuff is the biggest, the worst we've ever had. We've never had anything like it. How about interest rates? When I was president, think of this. When I was president, interest was 2.2%. Now it's 10%, and you can't get any money, so it's much higher than 10%. And I have really good news because I keep hearing people say $2.50, $2.25 a gallon. So the other day I'm looking at some things and some statistics. So we had $1.84 a gallon. That was the real price that you had, $1.84. Compared to now it's about $4, but it was up to $5. In California it was $7 and $8. We were at 184 and everybody was happy. It was nice to drive to Washington, D.C., but the problem with Washington, D.C. is too dangerous. We're going to clean that city up, and we're going to make it greater. We're going to make it safe so you can go down. And you can see the Washington Monument. You can go see Honest Abe, and you can see Thomas Jefferson. They wanted to rip that down. Remember they wanted to rip down the Thomas Jefferson? And I said, that's not going to happen. Remember I passed that law, the old law that was... They came into town, they wanted to rip down our statues, and I said, well, do they have a point? You know, a couple of them were a little rough, Then I said, well, now I heard they want to rip down Honest Abe Lincoln. Now you're getting a little bit nasty. And I went out, and we were tough. I said, give me that law, I want to sign it immediately. We took it. It was an old law from early 1900s. And it basically said that if you so much as look at or touch any monument anywhere in the country, federal monument, anywhere in the country, you get immediately 10 years in jail with no early getting out stuff. And I signed it with a news conference, remember? I said, anybody that wants to play games with me, you can play games, but it's not going to work out well. And we had a lot of people in Washington. They were having a lot of fun thinking about which statue they're going to take down. And as soon as I signed it, I watched the backs of those people. I don't want to use the word asses. I watched the backs of those people leaving town. They all left town very nicely. We had no problem. But just recently, a month ago, they were in Washington, and they're spray painting beautiful limestone lions and doing tremendous damage, fighting with the police. And by the way, nothing happened to those people. You know, when you spray paint over limestone, you'll see it in 100 years from now, because limestone's a very porous. I was really good at real estate and building. Limestone's very porous stone. And that stuff goes right into that. You can't get it out unless you want to do it with a chisel, and that's not going to work. And you're going to see that in 100 years from now. And it's very, very sad. And nothing happened to those people. Nothing. I watched it very closely. And they did great destruction. And they had fistfights with our cops, right? They had fistfights. They were rolling in the grass and fighting our police. Nothing happened to them. Under Kamala's economy, millions